Hola, 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 hola. Hola, hola. Ahora se escuchará. Now you are listening. You are listening. Just a couple more minutes, and we are going to start. Yeah. Because it's Andres, Lucas. We welcome Elisa, Andres, Hector. Yes, we are on mute before to start. Okay, just a couple more minutes. Saludos, Robert. Okay. Thank you very much. In a couple more minutes, we are going to start. Thank you very much. A couple more minutes. We are going to start. Yeah. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, Andrew. Okay, so we are going to start. Okay, is lagging. the people. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon from all over the world. We welcome to our webinar series from the magic of the PMO. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Right now is my video. Okay. Okay. Be welcome all our PM officers community all around the globe. Be welcoming our webinar series, the magic of the PMO. We are trying every week and every session to bring the best contents about PMO and or topics related about any kind of offices, about digital transformation, about RPA, Internet of Things, many things, the current topics for 21st century organizations and professionals as all our audience, all our PM officers community. So, hello, Mexico, Madrid, Peru, I think Barcelona, Spain, obviously. Today we have Andrew Lenti from UK. Well, he's, from my opinion, personal, professional opinion, he's a wonderful colleague. He's a wonderful professional and person, and he's going to share a very interesting topic about digital transformation. But the most important thing is from a point of view or from a strategic vision from a PMO that is, from our point of view in PMO offices, is a very important topic to talk for helping professionals and organizations. Okay, so Andrew, thank you very much for joining us again because you stayed with us the past year. So it's a huge pleasure to having with us. Thank you very much for coming, and please take the control of the session. And thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Hi. Buenas tardes, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Leonardo, thank you very much for the very warm welcome. And thank you for the time today. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You need to stop sharing, Leonardo. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Is my, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So my name's Andrew Lenti. I'm the CEO of Top Technical Intelligence. We're a software company founded in 2015. Leonardo, did you want to introduce anything before I go forward?
No, look forward.
Okay. Just a bit about myself. I spent 17 years in financial services. In that time period, I was based in 7 different countries. And the majority of the activities that I worked on, I was following enormous business transformation activities, mergers, acquisitions. And most of my time was spent in Europe. So when Scottish Widows merged with State Street in the UK, and when Deutsche Bank sold their custody accounting depot bank off, I was involved in a lot of that activity. And over my time in this area in business transformation, I got to see a lot of activity, a lot of ways people do things change. And the reason for these type of changes is because big companies are developing global operating models and they're redoing their value chain. And if you're in that type of activity, and many of you probably know if you're in project management, a lot of process related activity ends up getting functionalized so that companies can become bigger and they can focus on focus on specialized tasks and allow that to operate on a economies of scale type methodology. So just to make a long story short, as I was involved in all of that, I was also an amateur programmer. And in doing so, I was continuously building a prototype solution that allows individuals, project managers, and then program managers to collaborate together and manage those tasks from one office to the next, especially when you're speaking about multi-geography, multilingual, multi-time zone. So the solution you're going to see today is our solution is called Presto Digital Enterprise. And today you're going to see the project management part of it, which we call Presto PMO. And we're going to do a business simulation with a company in Switzerland, a toy company. It's a real company, but we've changed the names, we've changed the pictures. It's a mid-sized manufacturing company. We'll call it DuPont in the simulation. And I'm going to show you the basic functionalities of how a project management team can collaborate together with the senior management of the company to integrate the project management style to the top-down strategy deployment logic of the senior management. So going forward, what we'll do is we'll do it section by section. And at the end of each section, we'll stop so you can ask questions and hopefully I can answer them. So this is DuPont. This is a typical mid-sized manufacturing company in Switzerland going back to 1937. And like many mid-sized manufacturing companies, they were founded by a family in most situations. And in this specific example, what happened is that the Chamber of Commerce of Freiburg decided to invest in Industry 4.0 because they realized they had a bunch of mid-sized manufacturing companies that are now challenged with the opportunities of the new technology, digital transformation. But within each company, there's a lot of tradition, there's a lot of family-owned processes. So the company, the Chamber of Commerce, together with the School of Architecture and Engineering of Freiburg, they did a project and they engaged my team to help install an opportunity, a software to allow for mid-sized manufacturers to see the opportunities in technology to help their company become more digital. So this company here, mid-sized manufacturer, you can see they have markets in the EU, in North America, in the UK, and a little bit in the Middle East. And you can see some of the toys that they're making. And this specific example, this companies, their logic is to listen and learn, meaning they survive by the number of meetings they have with their clients to brainstorm, to talk about what new toys are going to become sought out, what new toys are going to become attractive. So they have this listening and learn strategy at the beginning where they conceptualize together with their buyers, and then they go back to the drawing board at home in the company and they design, they make prototypes, and then they make those prototypes so that they can go back to their clients and test them. And so obviously, to allow that to happen, you need to have a very strong connection between the manufacturing team, the engineering team, the quality team, and of course, the sales and marketing team that needs to constantly be collecting the feedback from the customer. The customer is always right, as they like to say. And in this case, this is what drives a successful prototype launch. So the company is... Yeah.
Andrew, sorry, can you put in the presentation mode your slide, please?
Sorry. Okay, better?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So we have the company for today. You're going to see in Presto, our solution, you're going to see this company. You're going to see Samuel, he's the general manager of the company, and he has 6 divisions directly underneath him. And you can see in each of those divisions, they have functions. All of those functions are actual teams of people. So taking that forward, the first thing I want to do is talk about the basic project management functionality in Presto. So what we're going to do, we'll start by talking about how you capture a project, enter it into the software, and then enrich it with the information that surrounds you. And one of the first value adds that we noticed when we brought to the market Presto was that we offer the RACI matrix. The RACI matrix is an opportunity to help companies become more focused on roles and responsibilities and setting expectations. So in Presto, every phase of a project, there's a RACI matrix. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the RACI matrix, I'll go over it quickly. RACI is the acronym, RACI. So in any project, in any process, in any document that's being managed or a KPI, there's a responsible person, a person that needs to make sure that that project is brought forward. Now, R means the person who's assigned to do the work. But then there's the accountable person, the A. And the accountable person is actually the person who makes the final decision. And in most situations, a responsible person reports to the accountable person. So you may be responsible for something, whether it's a project or a process, and you're going to trust one of your employees to take that and go forward. So your employee is responsible, but at the end of the day, you are accountable. If the employee doesn't do a good job, you're the one that's going to end up getting in trouble with the company if that's what it comes down to. So that's the differentiation between responsible and accountable. Now, of course, in every company, there's people that have good knowledge to help a situation. Sometimes those people work directly with a project. Sometimes those people have been moved to other groups, they have been moved to other departments, but their know-how is valuable. So in any project situation, if somebody has been assigned a consulted party, what that means is that they're expected, in the event that their know-how is needed, to attend an exercise, to attend the meeting, to make sure that the whole project team can utilize the know-how of that person in the critical moment. And then finally, there's the informed parties. And informed people are anybody that wants to know what's going on regarding that project. So obviously, senior stakeholders are going to be informed. Now, in the old world that many of us come from, this is mostly the people that want to be put in CC in an email. It can also be people that are interested in this project and they know next month I'm going to be doing a similar project in my group. Please keep me informed so that I can have visibility to this. So every situation, obviously, the RACI matrix gets constructed in a customized manner. But what you're going to see in today's presentation is that in some situations you can standardize up to 80-90% of a project before it even starts, using the RACI, and then customizing it based on the people that come in and out of the project. So this company, they've chosen 7 categories to group their projects and the metrics that measure the success of those projects. So we have cost, we have training, productivity, quality, risk and safety, delivery, and health and morale. The 5-phase project management framework that DuPont decided to put in place looks like this. So step 1, identify that there's an opportunity, or that opportunity becomes a project. So step 1, identify the project. Step 2, approve the project. Get the right people involved to decide if the project should go forward, or if it should be put on hold, or if it should just be canceled. Step 3 is execute. Achieve the milestones, tick off your task list, and deploy what the project is supposed to bring the company. Step 4 is to close the project in a very official way so that the company knows the project is officially closed. And then 5, celebrate success, a concept in Lean Six Sigma that's very, very important. It's fundamental in companies that when good things happen, that the whole company knows about it and the people that were involved in it feel engaged in their know-how is communicated to the company, so that in the future, similar projects, similar activities, you can engage those people again. So if we drill into this a little bit more, identify the project. You're in phase 1. You can see there's 2 key tasks that any, I would say, program manager would have to do. They have to agree the project charter, meaning agree what the principles of the project are, agree what the overall, the high level objectives are, agree the dependencies, and agree the project governance. Who's going to be involved? Who do we need involved to approve the things we want to do? Now, using the RACI matrix, as you see here, this is where a PMO can come in and they can drive this. They can say, I'll teach the person, the unit, the business unit that wants to push this project, I'll frame it and I'll put structure in it. And the business unit is going to be responsible to make sure that the information in the project charter is correct. But at the end of the day, we have the PMOs is driving this to make sure that as soon as those two items are done, they can take it forward to the next stage. In the next phase, you're approving the project. So what are you doing? You're agreeing the action plan. So you're going to agree the key tasks, the key milestones that need to be done. And while you're doing that, obviously you're thinking about how long it's going to take. You're thinking about who's going to do those tasks. So you're thinking about ownerships, and then you're thinking about costs. And then as you start finalizing these things, you start realizing, okay, once this is done, what are we going to get? So you're getting the benefit. So you're agreeing the benefits as well. Then the big thing that you want to do, you want to agree the start date. If the start date is agreed in this phase, then the project is officially a project. It's something that's about to take place, and people are going to, and senior management is opening the budget for this to happen. So you're agreeing the deliverables. And finally, that last item we put in there is make sure that your document repository is set up and you know all the documents. Everybody knows the documents available, and everybody knows the documents that need to be created during the course of the project. So you have a list of those things. Once again, from a role and responsibility point of view, the PMO in a very standardized way can structure that, and they can get the feedback from the business units who are putting their signature on the information as well. And as you can see, being kept informed, this is where senior management stays in, because senior management is going to be the one to decide if this project gets approved. And if it gets approved, then you execute. And here's where all the work you've done here in phase 2 gets listed here with the due dates and the milestones and the closure next step. So at this point in time, you can see driving the project, you actually have the business unit driving it, because they're the ones that need to get their hands dirty to do the things. And you have the PMO as a consultant type role, making sure that all these tasks are being done according to the timeline. In the event things start slowing down, then the PMO's responsibility is going to be to do what they do best and report the project status to the steering committee. So finally, when these items are done, you're in the close phase. So you want to make sure you debrief and you want to communicate the closing to the stakeholders of the project. It's a typical closing meeting that the PMO is doing with the senior stakeholders and all the extended project team as well, explaining to them what happened and what they got from it. And then finally, you're in phase 5, review lessons learned and identify any best practices. And if those best practices are confirmed, make sure that everybody's aware of them, make sure they're available. So the next time somebody needs to do a similar project, they have the best practices available as a starting point, and communicate to the company what has been done, who the main players were that helped make the project a success. So in the first example I'll show you using our software, we want to install CCTV cameras at DuPont. So at this point in time, the first department that's going to get the installation is the purchasing and logistics team run by Yoon. There he is. And of course, the IT team is going to be accountable for this project. So you have IT driving a tech project in the PMC, the purchasing and logistics department. So if you take a look at this project, of the head of IT, there's Sergio, missed the R, head of IT. We have Yoon Yoshida, he's the head of purchasing and logistics. He's the primary stakeholder. And of course, you have your PMO, and there's our friend Leonardo, ready to drive the project to the next level. So if you look at it that way now, identify the project, you have the PMO working with the head of IT, doing the identification activities. You have the PMO again working with IT, making sure that project is getting set up, agreeing the costs and the benefits. This time you have Samuel, the head of the company, and you have Celine. Celine is the head of corporate administration, which is basically the supervisor of Sergio. So Sergio reports to Celine, so Celine's kept informed here. So basically, as long as the PMO and the business do a good job of laying down the project plan and convincing senior management, they're going to get the approval. And once they get the approval, they have 6 key steps that are going to get those CCTV activations taking place. As you can see, this is where Yoon from the logistics team is now taking a lead role as the responsible party to do these things under the accountability of Sergio, head of IT. To close the project, the PMO once again takes control and makes sure that the debriefing takes place correctly, make sure that communicating to this closing stakeholder gets done correctly. And finally, celebrating success. This is where the business unit once again is responsible to tell the whole company that, which includes Samuel, head of quality, Danny, Clotilde, head of business development, Celine herself, tells the whole company, this is what we did over here. These were the people that did a good job, and keep this in mind because in the future, we're going to do more installations. So this is how this project's going to go. So what we can do now, give you a quick little introduction. So you're going to see now, we're going to go into the Presto cockpit. This is where projects can be managed and be listed in this typical table type view. And we're going to set up the project you just saw. We're going to use the RACI matrix, as I mentioned earlier, and we can even take a look at the Kanban board as we start building the project. So the first thing I'll do, we'll log into Presto. Here we are. Okay, I hope it's not too slow. Sometimes when there's Zoom, it's not the best performance. Okay, so far so good. So now we're in DuPont. This is the landing page of Presto. There's a lot of things you can do here. Today we're going to talk about one and a half things. We're going to talk about project management, and we're going to talk about KPI management as well. So at this point in time, this is the project management cockpit that we're going to enter. And now you can see, I'm going to close my windows. You can see here, we're in the cockpit. And I don't see anything here because I logged in it as myself, that's me. And I say, okay, I'm only seeing my projects. And obviously I don't have any projects at the moment. So show me all projects in the company that I have visibility into. And you can see immediately a bunch of lines in these tables. Every line here is a different project. So at this point in time, we want to build this project here, and we have a timeline of 2 weeks in the first phase. 2 weeks starting from the close of the second. The second phase starts from the close of the first phase, lasts for 2 weeks. We estimate 10 weeks on this one, on phase 3. 1 week to close, 1 week to celebrate success. Now, everything in phase 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 is standard. So this is going to always be automatic. This is how DuPont decided they want their workflow to work. Phase 3 is where you have to really do your problem solving type work. So at this point in time, just create a simple project. So I click the plus button and I add an owner. And the owner for this project is going to be Sergio himself. He's the head of IT. So I put his name in, and it lists every team where he's the owner. So what we're doing is we're assigning a project to the team. If tomorrow Sergio changes companies, this project still exists at the team level of IT. So we add it there. We'll save. And now, first we got to put a name in, of course. So I'm going to do some copy and pasting to save some time. So the first thing we want to do, how do we create a project in Presto? The project name is install CCTV cameras in the purchasing warehouse. So I'm going to come over here, copy and paste that in. The status, the project is now officially open. We can put a description in there. I'm just going to copy these things just for data purposes. So this will be the description, but these are also going to become more detailed and captured in the phase 3. So what type of project? This is an IT project, and this is what this is here. This is the Kanban board, the IT project Kanban board. What we decided earlier. So we built this you build this in the setup phase of Presto, saying there are 5 phases. These are the steps we want to follow, and these are the people. So this is an IT project, and KSF stands for Key Success Factor. This is a health and safety project because we're installing CCTV cameras to make the company safer. So I'll save that. And you see immediately here it is, install cameras. And now let's put an icon here so we can put an icon to the project. So I'm going to go into my online CCTV. There, let's give it this icon. So there we have a project set up. And now officially, we have the project on this dashboard set up on the 11th of November. Now, what we want to do next, we want to assign ownership to things. So let's open this project up. So right here, we have the project plan pop-up. So you can come here, you can select any project. And when you select it and then click this button here, you get the pop-up. This pop-up, some of these things should look familiar to you because these reflect the same thing you saw in the Kanban setup. So here we are, we're in the identified project phase. Immediately, we set this up so that immediately when a project is created, this phase is green. It means it's ongoing. Everything gray means it hasn't started. So in this case, it's ongoing, and it already has a due date, and we've given it from the time it's set up, we've given it 2 weeks setup, just as we asked over here. So we got 2 weeks to do a project charter and do a project governance and propose it to the senior stakeholders. So immediately it's giving you that due date. Now what happens is when you get close to that due date, if you don't do anything, Presto is going to give you that a few days before the due date. And once you get on the due date, it's going to be like that. And you're going to see that in this project cockpit, as well as on the dashboard, what you're going to see later. But right now it's green. So at this point in time, we'll go through this kind of quickly so you can see how this gets done. Create a project charter. Let's imagine that this got done. And now you're here. Create a project governance. Now this got done as well. And immediately this has become blue, complete. And you're now officially in phase 2. And this due date again got built based on the closing date of this. So if you close this, it's going to say, okay, give us this due date based on the day you closed it. So now you can see we're in phase 2, and you can see, okay, from a RISE point of view, we have Sergio, we have Leonardo as the accountable, we have Celine. Is that what we want? Now we also want to add Yoon as the consulted party. He'll be useful in this. And Samuel also wants to be kept informed. So I type in the name. Anybody that's in the corporate directory, when you type the name in, you see them like that. So now we've just customized this for Yoon's team. So you can see the next time we do this on another department, we'll put different people in. So in this case, agree the action plan. Now in this case, this is our action plan over here. So what we'll do is let's put this action plan in the action plan phase where you execute the project. So here, I just put a little template that put task 1, task 2. Let's change this around a bit. Let's put CCTV task list. So I've created CCTV task list. Task 1 is review vendor options. Task 2 is choose vendor. I'll type it in probably quicker. Choose vendor. Task 3, agree installation date. Task 4, complete installation and test. Step 5, train security and IT team. Step 6, close exercise. Now this is all the functions you see in typical project management tools like Trello, for example, you can get here. I mean, you can move these tasks around. You can do a bunch of things, which I'll show you, including adding dates, telling Presto what type of task it is, adding additional RACI matrix at the task level. For now, we'll keep it as simple as possible. So we're right now, what are we doing? We're in phase 2. And the first thing was agree the action plan. So that's pretty much what we've done here. We put the action plan in there. So that's done. Assign the ownership. So in this case here, we want Yoon working as the responsible party from the in the RACI matrix. So there's Yoon. Let's put Samuel wants to be informed as the project is taking place. Okay, so go back to this, assign ownership, that's done. Agree start and end date. So this is going to end on the 25th of November. So this project's going to take 2.5 months. So this is pretty much going to take, from a phase point of view, let's tell the company that expect in the month of December all the way to the end of January, we're going to be in this execution phase. Now, what else you're going to do? Now we've identified the start and end date of the phase. Now, what we also want to do, let's go to the task level now. We're going to say review vendor options, and I click over here, and now we're assigning all of this type of information to the task. So in this case, we want this project to start. We want to do this the first week of December. So the 1st of December up until the 5th. Choose the vendor. This is going to take 2 weeks. So we'll start this on the 6th of December up until the 19th. Agree the installation date. This is going to be once the second task is done. It should take a couple days. So we'll actually start it on the 17th and finish it on the 19th, which is the same finish date as the other one. Train the security and IT team. And this is going to take a few weeks as well. So starting on the 20th, and it's going to go into January up to the 9th. Close the exercise. Hold on a second. This guy here, we should have been sorted up here. So now we got choose installation date. Perfect. Okay, so this is the installation date on the 19th. So here we have the complete installation and test that's going to be done from the 20th until the 9th. And then the training is going to begin on the 9th of January. On the 10th, we'll say. Up until, we'll do 2 weeks of training. And then we want to close the exercise. We're going to spend the whole week, the whole last week of January closing the exercise. So these are high level milestones just for the sake of simplicity. You can put as many tasks or as many checklists as you like in here. But this is just for today's demo to make it quick and easy and more digestible. Now keep in mind, when you set Presto up, you can set it up so that anybody in the racing matrix, and I'll show you this later, how you do this, anybody in the racing matrix now is going to be getting emails and or alert messages every time that a task is ticked, every time a phase is changed, every time something goes over, doesn't get ticked before and it goes overdue. Anybody in this racing matrix, the way you set it up is going to get these notifications. A side note, Presto is used as an issue management solution. We have a client in the UAE who has 2 paper mills, one in Abu Dhabi, one in Dubai, and they use Presto for all their issue management. Basically, if somebody comes in and they see that there's a warehouse where there's a broken pipe leaking water, they're going to put it into Presto, and they follow a similar structure. They built their own structure on how to manage issues, but it's the same thing, and they have it so that if whether you're at home or whether you're on the shop floor, you're going to be getting an email message telling you that there's something you need to do if you're one of the people in the racing matrix.
Andrew.
So, yep.
Sorry, Guillermo Serra. Presto is similar to Trello?
Yeah. You'll see as we go forward, there's a lot of similar features to Trello because there's a Kanban board. I'll show you that shortly. There's a lot of features when it comes to setting up the tasks, tracking the milestones, and reporting them as well. So it absolutely can be used instead of Trello. In fact, I used to use Trello up until 2014, and then we built Presto, and my whole team uses Presto now. We don't use any more solutions, and in fact it's better that way because it helps us find more and more opportunities to make it better. So here you got Celine. She's head of finance, head of IT as well. She's Sergio's boss. She wants to know how long is this project going to take, so you can easily tell her, let's close phase 2 first, agree the start date we've done, agree the costs and benefits that we've kind of done by putting the timeline in place, and I'll show you that in a second. And finally, set up the document repository. So let's just imagine that that's all been done. Now we're officially in phase 3. So now, Celine, she wants to know, how long is this project going to take? Well, we've already put these things in here, and you're going to see a bunch of reports that show you those things. But you could easily tell her that by just giving her something along this lines. Say, well, these are the key tasks that we've come up with, and this is the timeline using a typical Gantt chart. Review the vendor options in December, as you can see. Choose the vendor. It's going to take 2 weeks. Complete the installation. It's going to going from December to mid-January. Agree the installation date. Oh, missed that. We should have sorted that into front. Train security and IT teams are going to be week 2 and week 3 in January, and then close the exercise in week 4. So very easy to communicate these things. Now, if I came in here and I put more checklists, that Gantt chart becomes even longer, and you can expand it, and you can tailor it to look the way you want. What are the key roles? Now, this is a big value add that Presto offers. I don't think any other solution in the market gives something similar to this. And basically, how do you track roles and responsibilities? How do you track costs? Well, I'm going to click this button now, and we're going to talk about these are the people that we're counting on to do this. So I'm going to open this up, and you see immediately there's our people. And what we want to do, we want to calculate how many hours they're going to spend. So starting with the hours, you can say, well, Sergio, head of IT, now using the timeline you just saw, we expect Sergio to give us 1 hour, 2 hours, let's do 2 hours a week of his time. So in the course of this phase here, he's going to give 17 hours. Now, Celine, she's Sergio's supervisor. We expect she's going to give us maybe bi-weekly 30 minutes. So she's going to put in a total of 2 hours. Leonardo, PMO, is going to be tracking this daily for, I would say, 30 minutes. No, actually, I would say weekly, 1 hour. So he's going to give a total of 8.5 hours. Yoon is going to be on the ground working on this. So weekly, we expect him to give us 1 hour as well. And Samuel, he's probably going to check in with us just at the end of this. So we would say monthly 30 minutes. So you can see 30 minutes. So we're expecting that a total of 36 hours this job is going to cost us. Now here's where you put the actual figures. So as you're tracking it, if you get to this level, you can actually put the actual figures here, and I'll show you later where the cost benefits get reported. This is the number that you're going to see in there if you don't use this one. Now the other item we put in here, which is very important when you're bringing people into a project, and I used to use this even back even 10, 15 years ago using PowerPoint, when I would sit down with people in a project and say, why are you here? Well, Sergio's in this project above all for his technical expertise, and he needs to know that. We also expect him to solve any problems technically on the floor. And since he is the head of IT, we expect his voice to have some weight when it comes time to making some decisions. Here's Leonardo. What's he doing in this project? Well, he's here to do the administration. He's the PMO, and that's why we're counting on him. Celine, we may need some problem solving. We may need some leadership skills, but for the moment, she's just overseeing. She's an informed party, as you see here. Where we have Yoon on the ground, getting his hands dirty. We're going to need him for problem-solving skills to help decide how the installation's going. He needs to be flexible. We put this category here. And he may help Leonardo with some of the administration because he's going to need to give good updates. And then Samuel, he's just watching everything. In the event there's some real issue, obviously we count on him for his leadership. So this here is a good heat map that tells everybody why they've been invited to the table. So when you see that, when they see this, they realize, okay, Sergio knows, yeah, I'm here to do technical work. He also knows he's expected to solve anything that can't be solved because he's the #1 problem solver in the group. So that's roles and responsibilities. What are the costs? You saw the hours. And then where can I review the project charter? Now, if you like doing project charters, I know this isn't exactly the project charter that you're probably used to using if you're using the famous Lean Six Sigma project charter, but this is a very simple way to make people understand what's going on. And this is the project charter of Presto. Here it is. And you come in, and what you do is you can put your core information in. So the sponsor of this project is Samuel. The program director is going to be Leonardo. There he is. The project manager, let's put in Veronica, his colleague for the time being. The project administration is going to be Veronica as well. And the key stakeholder is going to be Yoon. And excuse me, I'm going to put for the program director, I'm going to take out Leonardo and I'm going to put in Sergio. Leonardo is going to be here with Veronica as a project manager. So now you got the complete project core project management team. Overall objectives, really quickly, I'll type in install CCTV. in the purchasing warehouse. Now you start seeing these boxes here. These boxes are for you to communicate if things are going well. So in this case, we're installing, things are good. Here's where you're saying things are at risk. Here's where you're saying things are delayed. Here's where you're saying things are completed. Here's where you're saying things are not started. So in this case, things are going fine. Now here you're going to put in all the principles, just like you would put in a project charter, project principles. And what you can do, you can save your principles in the admin panel, and here's where you can import them. So these are some principles I've saved. I can say that I've used in many project charters. So I can say the target solution increases operational efficiency and reduces risk. Absolutely. Senior management is willing to invest in this business opportunity. This minimize organizational impacts and limit disruption in transition. So I'm just going to select all of them, many of them, just so you can see how this looks. So you put these in here, and now you have these project principles here, and you can start communicating if these principles are being respected or not. So there's that. So now your principles are in there, and immediately you see that red because I already highlighted that one's not working. Here you put your dependencies. Now you can create your own, or you can import them from your archive. We need support from senior management. Strategic objectives need to be identified and agreed. These are all dependencies that we've seen in our time that sometimes fall down. And if you put them out there in front at the beginning in your project charter, this always gives a good impression to the business that the program management team knows what they're doing. So I'll do that. We got your key principles, dependencies, any constraints. We have limited time, limited budget. Let's just imagine that was the case. And you're putting a color saying, yep, these are under control. And then risks. We have a few in here. Target solution won't bring expected value to stakeholders. So I'll add these as well, just to give you an idea. What happens is now you've created a project charter. And if you want to start reporting what's going on, here's your official project charter that you can start giving to your company. And as you can see, whenever you put a red ball somewhere, you're telling somebody that, yeah, minimize organizational impacts and limit disruption in transition. So you're pretty much communicating to the company that this core principle is not being respected the way you originally was. But this is just the starting point. You can export this to PowerPoint if you like, and then make it look the way you want. But it's a good way to start teaching people to follow principles and dependencies when they're doing their project. So back to this now. Here you have your open tasks, and Celine wanted to see some things. She wanted to see the charter. She saw it. And now the last thing I'll show you before we go to the next section. What are the benefits from using Presto's Kanban view? So what you can do here, from this panel, you can easily just pass straight to the Kanban view. Now you come in here and you can see right now we're looking at the issues in the company. Let's go to the IT projects. And here are IT projects. And here's the project we just installed. So you can see here, install CCTV cameras in the purchasing warehouse. Now here's our 5 phases: identify the project, approve the project, execute the project, close the project, and celebrate the project. Now I can put this card anywhere I like, but eventually it's going to get relocated here because, as you see, you have phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this phase right now is in phase 3 and it's green. And you open this up and you can see immediately why it's green. If you go in there and say, you know what, we're going to have difficulty, I'm nervous, you're going to change that, and now it's red. Now, by the way, the face you see there is the accountable party in the racing matrix for the phase. So when you go to close the project, you're going to see Leonardo's face because he's the accountable person to do this phase here. And when you open it up, you can see why. There he is as the accountable party. So very easy to start tracking those type of things. And the last thing I'll show you, this is a huge paper saver, what you're about to see, because it allows people to keep their eyes on things without having to print out reports, especially if you use Presto to manage issues, operational issues, which are projects, and the fact that we have the news feed. So this news feed here allows you to quickly just go through anything that's taking place and look at it. So you can see here, the news feed, the logic, the algorithm says, show me anything that's been updated. So the thing at the top is always the most updated thing. And as you can see, here's the project we just created, install CCTV cameras in purchasing warehouse. It's currently in the execute project phase and it's yellow. If you click on it, as you can imagine, you'll get that pop up so you can go in and start working. So you can say, no, actually, no issues, this is green. And if you refresh the screen, that should update. Maybe it won't because it could be a delay, but so yeah, so you can see there is green. Now from here, anybody that has visibility to these projects are going to see this news, and they also have the possibility to come in and say, in comment, excellent work.
Andrew, 10 minutes.
10 minutes and we're done? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so let's go. Let me find the most important thing that I think we should go over. Okay, so let's go to Presto's dashboard. So what we're going to do now, that was the project management cockpit. Now we're going to go to the dashboard and take a look at the company. Now we log into Presto, and me as a user, I have access all the way up to Samuel. And what this slide tells you here is that this is one of the key values that Presto offers. You get to see your company from the top down, 360 degrees. So immediately you see Samuel, he sees his direct reports, he sees how many people work for him, and he sees how many processes he has here. Now we're going to go look at the project management dashboard. He's going to see all the projects grouped by success factor, all the projects grouped by RAG status, RAG, red, amber, green, and then the projects listings, the projects that need to be planned in the first column, projects that need to be closed, projects that are underway. And then there's a huge amount of filters on the right that allow you to find the project you need super quickly. So here we are on the landing page. If you click on any picture in Presto, it gives you immediately a view to that person's team. So if I come in here and say, show me Celine's team, there she is. These are the people that work on her team. These are the roles that they have on their team. And what we might want to do, Celine's joining the company. She says, you know what, I want to build a project, a PMO office. So I go down to Celine's team. Here she is. She's responsible for 12 people, 26 processes. These are all the projects that are assigned to her teams. And she's also going to hire a PMO team. And she's going to assign this team to our friend Leonardo. There he is. We'll assign him to this. And now you officially have a PMO team. Now on this team, he might come in here and say, yeah, I want to put 2 people on my team. I'm going to put Veronica, there she is, as a project. First, we have to create a role, excuse me. So on this team, we need project managers. And there we go. So I save that. Now these roles are set up in the role and responsibility panel. So here's Veronica. She's a project manager. She's going to be spending 100% of her time on this team. And we're also going to hire David as well. David Torres, I think his name is. This is my lab. So now we officially have a team here of 3 people managing the PMO structure. So you can see Celine just increased her staff by 12 people. There's Leonardo. Let's go back up to Samuel's level. So there's Celine. She has a staff of 12 now. So basically what you're looking at now, Samuel wants to see all open projects. And I'm going to click on the open. So now what you're looking at is all projects that are currently open. Now I could say, what are these 2 productivity projects? I open it up and you see we have 2 productivity projects in the manufacturing team. Forklift tires need to be changed, restricted space for idle pieces on the drying phase, the drying hose. Click on this button, it gives you everything you see in your dashboard. So these are all the different projects in the company that you currently see on the dashboard. So here we are. Here's the project we just created, 5237, install CCTV cameras, currently in phase 3. It belongs to Sergio Said, that's his last name. It was last updated on the 11th. 7 out of the 19 tasks have been created, have been closed, currently in phase 3. And of course, if you click on the project, you go directly into the project. So you can see immediately, you can work immediately from this screen. There's a huge amount of filters that that help you look at things. You can say, show me every project that was opened this week. And you're gonna immediately see the ones we just opened with Sergio. Show me the ones that were closed this week. Show me the ones that were closed this year. And if you want, you can say, give me this in the calendar view. So you can see right now we're looking at all projects that were closed in April, June, July, and August. Very easy to capture this stuff the way you want it. Show me all projects that give us high client service benefits, 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars. You can see one project in this company is giving us high client service benefit. If I open this up, internet speed is very slow. Yep, that definitely impacts client service. So I come in here, and just to show you how you capture that, you have a cost and benefits panel that allows the users to come in and say client service, low, medium, very high, extremely high. Accurate, we become more accurate, yes. We reduce risk, we create capacity, and we create competitive advantage. So very easy to start tracking benefits from a very high level point of view, but giving the benefits back to the company. Let's imagine, here's Clotilde. She wants to know how many commitments she's given over the course of the year and how many of those commitments were successful and how much time and money she spent on those. So let's go to Clotilde's team. I forgot where she works, so I'll just go to the corporate directory. I'll type in her name. There she is, Clotilde. She's the head of business development. That's right, there she is. She has 5 direct reports. She's the head of sales, marketing, customer service. So we'll go to her dashboard. I click there. There she is. She's responsible for 15 people. She currently has 2 projects open. So I'm going to say open, show me all projects created this year. And now you can see from a summary point of view, these are the projects. You can see one of them was completed successfully, 2 were completed successfully, 3 were completed successfully, 1 was closed incomplete, and 2 are open. One's green, ongoing, and one of them's at risk. So we built this, we created this with our client. We call this the commitments report. You open this up, and you see immediately, I'm going to remove the tasks just so it makes more sense, simpler. So you can see over the course of the last 12 months, these are the projects that she agreed to. So she agreed 1 in February, she agreed 3 in March, 1 in October, 1 in November. And these are the projects that closed. One of them was closed unsuccessfully in April, 1 closed successfully in June, successful July, successful August. So you can see here, out of the successful ones, 2 of them closed, met expectations. 1 of them partially met expectations. That's what the green is. This is the total number of hours that were spent on the successful projects. Now come in the middle, she summarizes everything. She's given a total of 6 commitments. 3 of them have been successful. 2 of them are still open, and 1 of them is not complete. And of all these projects, 108 tasks were agreed, 65 of them have been complete. 3 projects were successful, 2 projects are pending, and 1 project was not complete, failure, depends how you want to look at it. And these are the incomplete ones. So you got 1 incomplete project, and they spent a total of 27 hours on this project. Now, if you go down to the next level, here's those 6 projects. The green ones are the ones that are closed successfully. Here's the one that hit partially. You can see it partially met expectations, 85%. 15 out of 16 tasks were closed on this one. Here's the 2 that are pending. One's yellow, 10% done. One's green, 20% done. And here's the one that was incomplete. And finally, here you have your hours of the people that were involved. So you can see Clotilde spent 5 hours on incomplete projects, 60 hours on successful projects. Junaid, 52 hours on successful projects. Julie spent 10 hours on incomplete projects, 20 hours on successful projects, and 8 hours on projects that are still open. How am I doing with time? You want to see anything else, or do we need to stop?
You still have 5 more minutes, but we have 2 questions in the chat, Andrew.
Yeah.
3.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. This is by free, or this is a cost of the license?
Okay,
He's
good.
asking Guillermo.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we'll jump to the end. Unfortunately, we did about 15 of the 40 slides. We'll know for better luck next time. So just a bit of where you can see our clients. We have clients in Italy, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, and the UAE. And this is the pricing for Presto. So basically, if you want it in the cloud, up to 25 users, it costs $19 per month per user. If you want it installed on premise, it costs $570 per license. So these are the prices for Presto. We can make some exceptions. It depends who the client is. If you're going to use it yourself as a small team, these are the prices. If you have some company that has potential to in the future have many licenses, of course we'll do all we can to help make the story a success.
Okay, perfect. Guillermo, the same guy. Second question: is possible export the date?
Yeah. So basically, I didn't want to spend too much time in the introduction, but we have a team of programmers. We usually have between 3 and 5 full-time developers. So basically, anything if you start using Presto, we have export functions in PDF. We have export functions in PowerPoint. We have import functions in Excel for KPI management. But if we don't have what you want, tell us and we can build it. That's what our team's for in India. But of course, we can export from any place. If the data is there, we can export.
Okay, perfect. Sebastian. Okay, at the beginning of the presentation, there was a matrix dashboard with 2 traffic lights. The second one has 3 letters, name like as Kiev or something like this. What does it mean?
Traffic lights.
Something like this. We can open the micro, Sebastian, if you want to open or expand the question. Explain a little better, please. And Andres.
Can you hear
me?
me?
Please. Yeah. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to everybody. This dashboard was shown in Presto, now in a slide of the PowerPoint.
Yes.
It was a more complex dashboard with several rows for each of the projects and columns to show attributes for each of the projects. It was at the beginning, and it has in the apps, no in the PowerPoint.
Was it this?
No, and more complex dashboard. One row.
This one.
This one. Yeah.
Okay.
The second traffic light, I can understand what means.
This over here.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically. Okay. So we'll go back into so this is we call this the PMO cockpit. This is where you can manage all your projects without going onto the dashboard. In fact, one thing to note, everything you see here, now the dashboard is for managers and leaders in the company. Now you wouldn't want a junior person to have access to that dashboard. This panel here is access to everybody. In fact, you could have a university student, they just joined the company. You give them access to the dashboard. Any projects where they're in the RASI matrix, when they click here, they can come here and they can update their projects together with you. They can work together with you. So that's what this is for, the PMO cockpit. So what you were speaking about there, okay, let's talk about how the project management works here. So 2 lights. You're asking about these 2, correct?
Yes, of course.
Now that first light is telling you the worst status in the phases. And it's telling you the worst status is green. So if this was yellow, that would become yellow. So out of the phases of the project, this project is yellow. Okay. Now the second one, this is what we didn't get a chance to speak about too much. I should have started with this. Here is where you, as a project manager, start doing some real work. Okay. So here's the project. You have the possibility to say this project here is currently 75% done. Okay. Now you have the 5 phases, but here's where you can override those phases and say this project is going to start on the 11th of November. It's going to finish on in mid-February. Okay, and then you have the actual start and the actual end. Okay, and then you have the possibility. I gotta find it. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, from this you have the hours. Here's where you can modify the actual hours spent. Here you have the traffic lights for the phases. Excuse me, I need to come back here a second. Yeah, okay. And here is where you're going to say, okay, currently the project's open, and here's where you can put an overall color. So you can say, okay, currently we have a phase that's yellow, but I have no doubts that this project is going to be a success. So I'm going to give it ongoing project is success is probable. So now once you do something like that, did we lose it? Oh, do I have a filter on? Okay, so outcome is ongoing. Now, okay. I'm just wondering why. Okay. Okay, because this is a, yeah, excuse me, this is a filter, excuse me. I haven't done this for a while. So here we go. So this project now, we have phase number 3 is yellow. So that's why it's showing yellow, but you're gonna say this project's open, but I know that this project here's what, in these statuses here, we can create this in the back end, and I can show you this really quickly. And the statuses we created, overall statuses, you have ongoing, you have not started, at risk, delayed, then you can put ongoing success is probable, ongoing failure is probable. So if you want to say this project's probably going to fail, you're going to give it this color. So in this case here, let's imagine that we think this project's going to be fine. So I give it this color, I'm going to save it. And now you can see that there's a green ball with a checkbox, and that checkbox is saying this project, from my point of view as a project manager, this project's gonna close successfully. Now you might come in here and say this project is no way gonna save this be a success, it's gonna fail, and you put that on, and now you're giving it a red X. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. So it's a second level of status of the project by the understanding of the project manager.
Exactly.
Is it?
Exactly.
It's
and you can.
It's clear your answer. Thanks.
Excuse me.
It's clear your answer.
Okay. Good.
Many thanks.
Okay, so what else do you have on this panel that you might find interesting? Here you have the possibility now to start really looking at the costs. The first costs are resource costs, but then of course you can also add material costs, expected additional costs, expected total costs, and then you can start putting in, if you want to see gains, input gains to cost type things, you have those. We have a couple of reports. I'm not going to show them today, but I always tell any of our clients, I say, if you have a report that you absolutely have to use and you like that, let's work together and we'll build that report. We'll find a good place for it, wherever you think it would work. So another thing I want, actually, how much time do we have, Leonardo?
Keep going. If we still have audience in the right now, so if anybody else have any more questions, we are open to discuss. Andrew, keep going, please.
Okay, so the point of this webinar, the title of the webinar is implementing strategy. And going back to the DuPont example, let's talk about, okay, so let's talk about the corporate vision of DuPont. So DuPont has 3 breakthrough goals, or should I say 3 goals where they have 3 to 5 year timelines. Now this is the long-term vision of DuPont. They want to increase total revenues by 40%. They want to reduce operational costs by 25%, and they want to become completely digital by embracing Industry 4.0 opportunities and technology. So if any of you are familiar with strategy deployment using the Hoshin-Connery logic, that's what Presto uses. So this is the long-term vision of the company. And now the next thing we want to know is, what are the improvement initiatives that we're going to put in place, high-level big projects that are going to help us hit these targets. And there are 9 of them. So we want to develop a mentor program, introduce all employees to lean. We want to invest in ISO 9001. We want to invest in a 3D prototype realization printer. We want to implement continuous improvement system. We want to initiate customer service process. 7, develop growth strategies. 8, develop a delivery improvement system. And 9, develop an affordability initiative. So these are the 9 key initiatives that are going to help us in the next 5 years hit these targets over here. So the example for today's demo is initiative number 4. We're investing in a 3D printing unit. So there's a few 3D printers they're going to buy, and the person responsible for this is the head of engineering. He's the accountable person. The responsible parties are going to be, he's going to count on the head of business development, because we're talking about creating prototypes and bringing those prototypes to clients and brainstorming with the clients. Also the head of manufacturing, because he's the one that's going to actually be bringing those prototypes to life. From a consulting side, we have the head of quality. And from an informed side, the CEO wants to know absolutely how this investment's going, and as well as the head of IT, because he's supporting it. So the first thing Samuel wants to know is, where do I set these things up in Presto? Now, Presto, if you have access to this from your dash, if you have access to this module, now obviously this module would only be given to senior people in the company, but here's our strategy deployment Hoshin Kanri workbench. So here you have your goals for the next 5 years, and you can see 1, 2, 3. Here you have the goals for this year. Here you have your improvement initiatives, the one we just spoke about, the 9. And here you have the metrics types that you're going to use to measure the progress of these investments. So if we talk about this number 4, invest in 3D prototype realization innovation, you can open this up and you can give it a nice description. You put a picture, and then put in the RACI matrix who the people are that are going to be getting this done for you. So now, when you look at this, you're going to say, okay, we want to know what annual goals will support this initiative, and what metrics are going to help us measure if the initiative was successful. So at this point in time, we say, okay, let's talk about how this printer is going to help us increase revenue. So if I click on increase revenue, you see immediately we want to increase revenue by 40% in the next 5 years. But this year, what we expect to do, we expect to increase revenue by 25%. We also expect to increase employee engagement by 40%, improve customer satisfaction to 85%, and train employees in continuous improvement. Now, all of these annual goals are directly linked to the increased revenue by 40% for the next 5 years. Because if you can increase employee engagement, you can be very confident that your revenue is going to go up. So they're all correlated positively. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to say, okay, tell me from a revenue point of view, what projects out of these 8 now, you can see 8 of them are linked to increasing revenue. What projects are going to help me increase revenue by 25% this year? And you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And you can see these are linked now, just as I did before. And by the way, this is the impact of the link. So you're saying developing a mentor program, it has a low impact on the sales revenue. It has a medium impact. It has a high impact. So at this point, we're going to say low. And there's a score behind this, which you're going to see in our Hoshin Kanri matrix. Now here's our 3D printer. So I'm going to come here now. I'm going to say, immediately you see numbers here. These numbers are the metrics, the KPIs, or you could, in another way, you can say it, the projects that are going to help make the 3D printer initiative a success. And I click on this, and you can see how are we going to measure if the 3D printing installation is a success. We have 3 financial KPIs, 6 customer KPIs, and 2 internal process KPIs. And if I click on this, you'll get a good view into that. There's the name of the initiative. There's the RACI matrix. So the engineering lead is accountable for this. The head of commercial services or business development is responsible, and then accountable HR lead and the CEO. So from a metrics point of view, we're going to measure the number of mentorships. We're going to measure sales revenue, crowdsourcing partners, number of clients, number of products, number of deliveries out, and number of client visits. So what you're looking at here now, just to give you an idea. So here's the printer. How does this printer impact the company? Well, from a financial point of view, we want to increase crowdsourcing partnerships. We want to increase revenue, decrease operational costs. From a customer point of view, we want to increase clients, increase customer satisfaction, increase the number of visits to the customer. From a process point of view, we want to decrease the number of defects of the product, increase the number of prototypes. From learning and growth, we want to increase employee satisfaction. Here, we want to increase the number of ideas coming from our engineers. So as you can see, one high-level initiative has a bunch of different metrics, and behind these metrics are going to be projects, and that's what we're going to do now. So one last thing about the metrics, I'll say, if you go forward, let's talk about what are those 3 financial KPIs. This 5th panel is all the KPIs in your company. And you can see these are the team leaders that have been assigned those KPIs. So I'm interested, show me the 3 financial KPIs that are linked to this printer. And you can see immediately, hold on a second, sorry about this. I forgot to turn Skype off. Okay, so here we are back on this panel again. 3 financial metrics are linked to this 3D printer, and you can see it here. So we want to increase the sales for sporting toys by 25%. We want to increase the number of crowdsourcing partnerships at Samuel's level. And we want to increase sales revenue from new products at sales team. From a customer point of view, we got 6 KPIs. See them here. Increase the number of clients, increase the number of prototypes, increase the number of prototypes dispatched, increase the number of visits to clients, and increase the number of prototypes realized. And from an internal process point of view, here's our KPIs. Let's filter it, look better. And we want to increase the number of new products engineered, and we want to increase the number of prototypes realized. So those are all the things that are linked just to the revenue aspect. Now, if I say, tell me how the printer is going to help us decrease costs by 25%, and you can see, I'll come here, we want to decrease costs by 10% this year, and you can see there is an impact by the investment in the printer. There's a medium impact. And I'm going to come here again, and I'm going to say, what are the things that this printer is going to give us? Well, from an internal process point of view, this printer is going to help us decrease the cycle time for in the blowing team, decrease the cycle time in the decoration team, decrease the number of defects, and decrease the number of defects recorded during blowing. So all of this now, I know we've kind of gone off the track a bit, but the important thing for you to know is that the Hoshinkanri matrix. So now when you go back to your project management dashboard here are all our projects in the company, and we say, show me every project that's linked to the 3D printer initiative. And that's this now, these are all the projects that support this initiative, invest in 3D prototype. So going back to our cockpit, how do these projects get linked to the initiatives? If you go into the cockpit, you come here, you can say, okay, here's all our projects. And here, when you click on the compass, the Hoshinkanri compass, and now you can see these are the initiatives in the company that you, the user, have visibility to. And here's our 3D printer. So you can see there's a 3D printer. It's linked to this one, this one, and this one, and this one. And if I say hide all the things it's not linked to, these are the 6 projects that are linked to the 3D printer. Now I might say, no, we're missing a couple. And yeah, these CCTV ones, no. So you open this up and you can say this one here, defects and rework reduction, that's a project that's going to be linked to this. So now very easy to start linking your projects to your initiatives. Now what I do, this is something that I do every week, and we're pushing our clients to do this too, because there's a lot of value. Every time I create projects, at least once a week, we come in here and we make sure all those projects are linked to our long-term initiatives in the company. Like I use this to manage all the metrics in my company and all the projects. So what we do, you can come in here, you can say, show me anything that's not linked to Hoshinkanri, not linked to our projects. And that's what this unlinked button gives you. And these are all the projects that have no relationship whatsoever to these things you see over here. So every week I come in here and make sure that this becomes clean to 0. So there's nothing in here. So we know every project can be filtered on the dashboard by the improvement initiatives that are driving the strategy of the company.
Andrew.
Yep.
one question. This is a powerful tool. I want to share that I didn't see it, the tool, this presentation before. Um, it's amazing. It's very powerful. So imagine that we have another customers that currently are applying, are using Agile. Yeah, because they are development. They have several development teams, and they are applying Scrum. Okay, and they say, hey, we are using Jira. No, we are using Jira for tracking our products more than projects, our products, because we have quickly a sprints and monthly releases, something like this. I'm just talking about. I'm just talking with using my imagination. Okay, but
Yeah.
the question is, Andrew, we love your tool, but we are applying Jira for product management office with our we love this one. We need this one for a strategic level of top management level because we really don't know about all our portfolio projects and products as well. So can we do something like this? Do you have any connector, any add-on, any AP? You know?
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely, we could connect to Jira very easily. That's what our IT team does for us. They do the integrations. I wouldn't. I don't know why you would want to use both. So, like I said, we used to use Trello. Now we use this. We just stopped using Trello. So, but yeah, we can absolutely connect. You know, if you take right now today, we looked at the project management module. What we didn't look at are all these other modules. For example, if you want to manage KPIs, here's your KPI dashboard. Like, and those KPIs you saw earlier, show me all the KPIs. These are all the KPIs in the company, and I'm going to say, show me all the quality KPIs. And you open it up, and then you got your simple KPI listing. And if you want to go take a look at those KPIs, you're going to drill into them and you can report them if you want. Let's see, last 12 months. So anyway, my point is
Wonderful.
that what you can, whatever modules you're using, we have the connectors and we have the API that you can fill in. But the only thing you really need to use Presto for everything you saw today, remember, most of the things that you use to manage projects are the observation related. So the only thing you really need to use Presto is the names of the teams, the names of the people that are leading those teams, and the names of anybody that's on those teams, really. And once you have that set up in Presto, everything else is just, it's mostly manual when you manage projects. But if you want to feed a project from Jira into Presto, you can. I just don't understand why you would do that. So, but there is possibly a good scenario, a good reason why you would do that. But if you need that done, absolutely, we can do that.
Awesome. Because many organizations are currently using this kind of tools. Okay, Trello. Okay, yeah, we can use it something like this. But there's another use from Jira or similar tools. Not that many organizations, CIOs or CTOs or PMO leader, PMO officer, I'm convinced they are going to ask.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's a cost benefit analysis. If you think it would be in your best interest to move from one to Presto, then you know it can be done, but you just have to have the support from the top of the company. If you're going to have multiple teams using both, I wouldn't advise it if it's not. It's going to create extra confusion.
Yeah, I'm agree. Many organization using two, no more than three. Okay, but because they are using several frameworks and several kind of projects and products, and only one tool is very complicated to manage everything, as the organization needs itself. That's why is Presto a wonderful tool for help them. We have not any more questions. Andrew, it was a wonderful presentation, a wonderful webinar. Thank you very much. for your time. It was very interesting. We still have more than 20 people, and well, less than 20, but we are using 1 hour and a half. So it was very interesting. So if anybody wants contact to you, where can they do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to request a demo for yourself, with your company, feel free to come online. I mean, you can contact me. In fact, you know what? You can contact me direct. LinkedIn is the easiest way, of course. But you know what? Since we're all friends here, I will also put. You can always send me an email. I should have put that there. But any address here is fine. You got my email address. There's the company email address, and of course, from our website, you can contact us very easily. But sure, we can give demos, a consultation if you're interested in brainstorming how you could bring this into your business. That we're here for that. That's what our job is. So, and even if you don't know if you have a budget or not, I wouldn't stop having a conversation, because a lot of times we help people convince their decision makers internally that to make a budget for this product. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Can you post our last slide from PMO for the global survey, please?
Which one?
The global survey of PM officers slide. Exactly. Before to leave, thank you very much all of our audience, our PM officers community. Remember, we need you. We need your help to fill up our global survey of projects and product management office. Remember, this is the link. It's in Spanish, but remember that the survey is in both Spanish and English. You only have to go to pmoacademy.org encuesta 2020, sorry, and you can choose the language do you want to fill up the survey. This is very important because this is very ambitious survey, and it's the only one that we are currently talking about: digital transformation, agile management office, hybrid management office, value management office, not only PMO, because we are going a small steps beyond that. So thank you very much. We are going to close the session today. And remember, next Wednesday, we are going to have another webinar series from PM officers. And Andrew, my friend, thank you very much, because we were working a lot of work. Yeah, I know you use a lot of your time. Thank you very much. Really.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thanks for everybody for coming. I'm delighted to hear from you, and it's my pleasure.
Okay, guys, see you the next time. Be safe, be healthy, and see you in the next time PM Officers webinar series. Thank you very much from Barcelona, Spain. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.